Oh, live.
Is the spring property wave over, or is there more to come down under? Let's take a deep dive in this topic. There's a lot more to come, so stay tuned. Morning.
Wah wah wee wah 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 wee wah.
Wow, we are Mr. Fortune Teller of Real Estate, Mark Novak. Top of the morning to you.
Yeah, top of the morning. We're a bunch of real estate agents on the northern beaches of Sydney. We're responsible for a lot of volume of sales on the northern beaches. I personally like my data, and Xanthony and I were talking this morning about the spring rush. There's definitely more properties coming on. Xanth, what do you reckon? What's happening out there? Interest rates stay the same?
Do you know what? It's just been the biggest roller coaster over the last few months. We've gone from having such a lull in the market towards the beginning of this year with the lowest stock numbers on the northern beaches that we've ever seen in over 30 years, to having this sudden influx of listings just before spring. And now that we're finally in spring, it's starting to kind of taper off a bit. And we're finding days on market is a lot longer for houses. Units as well, we're finding days on market is a little bit longer than we've typically seen. And people are still just a little bit nervous and apprehensive in today's market.
I think my first big tip for today would be, if you're trying to work out what's happening in the property market, put your essential glasses on. That's what I did through COVID.
And when you say essential glasses?
Absolutely essential. That's the way people are moving.
So Mark's just cutting out a little bit, but what he's trying to say is put your essential glasses on, figure out what is absolutely essential for you. Is this the right time? You can never predict what's going to happen. So put your essential glasses on and figure out if this is the right time, if this is the right place for you to make that move into buying your first property, buying an investment, making the move for your family. So just put that hat on. If you need to move for things like your family, then absolutely that's what you need to do. But in terms of predicting the market, it's too volatile at the moment. It's a little bit too difficult to tell. I did actually listen in on a conference last night, and a very well-known auctioneer, Tom Panos, was talking. And he said something along the lines of, you're dating an interest rate, you're marrying the home. So whilst interest rates fluctuate, they go up, they go down, much like when you go on a date, the interest levels there between the person you're dating. Interest goes up, it goes down, but at the end of the day, you're marrying the home, you're marrying your mortgage.
You know what? So, it's a long-term thing, and the bottom line, it doubles every 10 years.
It does. So it's a long game. It's a long slog, and you're not in it for the short haul. You're in it to find an investment, to find your forever home, and then 10 years later, figure out what to do from there. What are your thoughts, Mark? Do you think that the spring wave has come and gone, or do you think that there is more to come?
So, Xanth, the bottom line predictions: more stock in the next 3 months for the end of the year, or less stock for the next 3 months to the end of the year?
Do you know what? I think that with the pause in interest rates now, I think that we will start to see more stock come on. It has been quite a volatile first 3 quarters of the year, so I think that we will go out with a bang. And then next year we'll increase on that bang even further, and even more stock will come on, and there'll be even more active buyers out there looking for property. But that's just my prediction. I wouldn't hedge your bets or anything on that. That's just what I think is my gut feeling as to the future of the property market for this year and beyond.
Do you think
So,
the price,
Mark's
if
just
more
cutting out a
stock
little
comes on, what do you reckon that's going to do to prices? Sorry,
If
if
more
more stock comes on, what do you think that's going to do to prices?
to prices. It depends on buyer numbers, really. If there are still a lot of active buyer numbers out there, then it certainly will drive prices. But if there aren't many buyers and there's a lot of stock to choose from, then you don't have as many people competing for that property. We did see a few months ago there was such little stock available, but really big buy numbers about. So that was really good for driving up those prices and creating that healthy competition amongst buyers.
You know what people forget about? People forget about what the average number of stock numbers are across Sydney. And what they forget about, and people are getting a little bit spooked. So I just want to give people a metric, of what's normal and what's normal and what's not normal. On the Northern Beaches, we have had, as a metric, and you can apply this metric to anywhere in Sydney, but on our numbers on realestate.com.au, because that's our biggest portal for selling real estate on the Northern Beaches, 3 times more than Domain. So we use always realestate.com as a metric. On realestate.com, we have had as much as 1,050, 1,050, 1,100 properties on there. And we have had as low as 420, 430 properties on there.
And that was only a few months ago.
That was only a few months ago. And that's the lowest I've seen since the portal started. So what I do have to say to people out there is, if there is more volumes that are hitting the market like you're suggesting, I'm actually thinking the opposite to what you're suggesting, but I'll talk about that in a sec. But if there are more numbers hitting the market, that's okay, and that's normal, and that's not a flood or an avalanche. Because even if those numbers in the Northern Beaches, where there's 100,000 properties, even if those numbers go to 600 or 700 or even 800, that's still in that sort of median of where stock high and stock low has been sitting. So I don't think it's a scary number.
I don't think so. I had a quick look this morning. There are roughly 750 properties available on the market in the Northern Beaches now on realestate.com.
Are they really?
Yep.
That's changed a lot. That's changed as much as 30% in the last 3 weeks.
So it is still very up and down roller coaster. You think it's leveled out at one moment, and then the following day it just changes in an instant.
So I think the bottom line, guys and girls who are watching, if you're trying to sort of help this form your decision on buying or selling, what stock's going to do over spring and over the next 3 months, I think you can confidently say that I personally think there's going to be less stock. I reckon the spring's brought forward, and that is it.
Really?
Zan,
Okay.
you're saying there's going to be more stock.
I think towards the end of the year,
Yeah, which is great for purchasers. But how that's going to influence prices and what that's going to do with prices is just going to be really interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I agree. But you're the fortune teller here this morning. You should know these things.
The fortune teller.
With your little crystal ball.
You know what? I would tie it back to this. Zan, you're selling your property. Would you sell now or wait?
It's all circumstantial, isn't it? If I had to sell now, then absolutely I would. If I could wait and see what happens in the new year, that might also be tempting to me as well. It's all based on what your situation is.
Now, another question. You're a buyer now. Would you buy now or would you wait, given these stock levels we're talking about?
I'd be doing my due diligence. And if I found something that I love and I have my little money bag good to go, I'd absolutely buy now.
I think the bottom line out of what I can say to people today is put your essential glasses on. If it is essential to buy, do it now. If it is essential to sell, do it now. But definitely, if you want to work out what's happening in the Australian property market, and if you want to work out what's happening in the economy, if you want to work out what's happening in the shop down the road, just put those essential glasses on and work out, because stuff is going to hit the floor that is not essential. And I mean, if people have bought things over the last couple of years that's not essential, they're cutting them, they're getting rid of them.
Yeah, it's true. On that note, I'm going to call it a wrap.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Zan.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thank you, Mark, fortune teller.
Bye.